Delivery service, that's great.
Okay, welcome back, and now we're at the end of our meeting. So now we're looking at, instead of $505,360, we knocked that down to $419 after the recommendation and of the water and wastewater.
I think we might have shaved a few more bucks off.
And then we've knocked $28,000 off also. You have that, don't you? Yeah. I think those are the only two that I had marked down that we had shaved. But anyways. So we're going to be below 400,000.
But that does not include council increase.
Right.
And it does not include if council is going to agree to move forward with the RFP for
The truck. And we've taken care of all of Dean's requests as far as his vehicles.
The only other thing he told me to come back, or council told me to come back with a sidewalk plow price kind of thing. Well, it's not cheap. Seriously, it's not cheap, right? So like a new one, or a used one in 2019 is probably anywhere from like 50 grand to 60. And that's without all the attachments that we have. A new one without attachments, and you'd have to go, in my opinion, you'd have to go with the same one we have so you could use our attachments, would be over 200,000.
Oh my God. It's crazy.
Equipment's not cheap.
How much are shovels?
I was gonna say,
We should be going to Woodstock. Any deals?
Does anyone have any recommendation? Dean, do you have a recommendation that you want to put forward? Like,
The only other thing we could maybe look into is like a lease kind of thing, or a rent to own or something like that for, you know, for the winter even kind of thing. Like summertime, we should be able to pass with our tractor, cutting the grass along the side of the road. So we have two equipment going right there, right to the sidewalk note. So
Excuse me.
that's an option as well. But like for sidewalk maintenance wise, right? So we don't have very many kilometers. I think there's 1.7 or 2 kilometers of road or sidewalks that we have in municipalities. So
and the one we have now is done.
it's 2009, and the lifespan is getting pretty flail. The last budget meeting, I think we spent 44,000 on it last year. That's just on that. That's not the equipment with it, like the brusher head, the sander, the snow blower, the blade.
So the $60,000 used one, we'd have to buy all those other attachments.
Unless you get a track. Unless you get a trackless. Right now we have an MT7 trackless. If you purchase something similar, all the attachments would fit on it.
Are they out there used?
Yes, there's some like Goderich and other
The 60
systems.
grand is a lot more palatable than 200.
The used ones, are they any better than ours?
Well, 2009 to 2019 or 2017, I would say so. Lower hours on them, right? So I think ours has, I'd have to look again, but I think it's like close to 8,000 or 9,000 on it. So. And we purchased that time in Carleton Place, and it was in good shape.
Yeah.
Like then, like from another municipality, yeah, you might have been. No, you were like,
Standing with you.
So, sorry, I missed that. The one we have now, we purchased used?
correct, right?
Yeah.
Oh, yes, please.
How many years did we get out of it?
I got the stupid bowl last week.
Probably 9. And that was 2009.
Ed?
I don't know.
You're my man?
Yeah,
You're my go-to.
well, yeah, if we can find it. Like with low hours. Thank you. Like I can't justify spending $200,000.
And then when you spend that, then you put the used equipment on it, it's just,
Yeah.
So how does that work for procurement bylaw for us? If we find a good deal for something?
I have to look at the procurement bylaw off the top of my head,
Well, we do have that KIN program, right?
but that's not part of our procurement policy, so we have to take a look at it.
So can we do this in time, or does it have to be done sooner as opposed to later?
Do what in time?
You guys plow, whichever route we're gonna go.
It'd have to be a council decision because they don't.
Yeah, we understand.
We can't put this in the budget unless council agrees to it, correct?
You have to agree to amount to be able to put it in and then move forward with
With some kind
an
of amount.
RFP of some kind.
The same as we discussed about the truck.
Correct.
Mhm.
Yep. Like it.
Or we could do it at a different time. Like if something broke down in July, we wouldn't be waiting for 9 months until we're in budget process to decide if we can put it in. So I think in answer to your question, it's not immediate. We don't have to decide today if we don't want to. We could decide at a different time.
I'd rather do it after the budget, personally. What do you guys think? As long as it's done before the winter time.
Well, if we ever want to get this budget done, yeah.
We're gonna get the budget. What do you, Harold, what do you think?
Wait till after the budget.
Bill, your suggestion?
Is my suggestion.
Yes.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah. Ted? Brad? Okay.
Maybe it's a sale and shovel somewhere. Shovels cheap, maybe.
And shovels in the meantime. Would it be best to wait now until all of these are put in? All the notes that she's computed here and get us to a bottom line? Or do we want to have a general discussion right now as far as where we're at?
Well, we can't have it, we have to have a bottom line before we can make any decisions. Talking now is wasting air.
Yeah, well, yeah, I don't want to spin around.
Do we?
Hey,
Do we?
There's not that much that's changed.
Well, I think one thing we have to consider, and if we are going to take the night to think about it or whenever, is that we asked our taxpayers last year for a 17% increase. And of course, that increases your revenue from year to year. So, and of that increase, they're expecting services. So if we can add things to our bottom line in regards to services, I think that would be a good investment on our part. And just an example would be, I know we talked about the fire hall in Round Lake, doing the outside. Maybe now we can afford to do that. We talked about the playground, or the retaining wall at Station Park. Maybe now we can do that. But those are things that we should think about because of the situation we're at right now.
I think we should try to keep our budget like, our tax rate down, like, not doing walls and fire halls and,
Well, I think consistently we want to be between 3 and 5%.
I'd
Consistent.
be happy with 3. I'd go dance in the street.
Dave, I appreciate what you're saying about doing those additional things, but I think we went through all of those.
Yes, we did.
And we picked a number of things, a good number of things to increase. Like we cherry picked off that list to see what we could afford
Yeah.
this year, and we're doing it. As Maureen said at the very beginning, this is our year to fix stuff, and we're fixing the fire hall. We're starting at the inside, so that's happy that we're fixing the luck office. We're just doing little bits and pieces of it, and we did the wall. We're doing some other things as well.
And just because we have a little bit of money yet, we don't have to
No, I'm not
go out
suggesting
and buy Cadillacs instead of Volkswagens.
I think we're going to be balancing our budget by using a good chunk of our reserves. I think what our working reserves, and that's what they're for. But I think if what you're suggesting is adding on more projects to that, that's just going to be using more of our reserves. And personally, I wanna get out of this, as a taxpayer, I wanna get out of this as cheaply as possible.
Of course.
And still fix and still maintain repair, you know what we need to do.
Well, the other piece is we may also need like $100,000 at some point for the Mount Rank if that petroleum grant comes through. So that would be a huge thing fixed if that does come to fruition.
And a couple of other unknowns that we kind of kicked out of the budget process, like
Yeah.
the sidewalk plow
Yeah.
and another truck. And
No, I'm just throwing this out there
Yeah.
for consideration.
and,
That,
no,
you know,
I think,
I didn't envision us being this low.
Mm-hmm.
I had no idea it was gonna come at this level. Which took me by surprise, and that's why I went down this path to bring it forward again. And I hate circling back, but I'm circling back, and just to rehash some things that we said no to, if we wanna bring those back. And if there was a year to do those kind of things, this could be that year, but Bill, you're exactly correct in saying that we have done a lot of things, we cherry-picked a lot of items to put into the budget. So, but I think we still have to maintain, as I said, that 3 to 5% ratio. We should try to be as consistent as we possibly can now. We went for the gusto last year at 17, and now I think we need to show some stability. That was my spiel. So, I think the bottom line is, we're not gonna touch this until everything's inputted and we have a bottom line. Now, having said that, we
I
won't
go
really,
back to why, because we're very close to our bottom line. But it's not going to impact our tax rate increase. It's just gonna, like, the fiddling with the bottom line from this point, what we've talked about tonight. I think what that's gonna do is minimally change the amount that we're taking out of our working capital, or that we're suggesting to take out of our working capital.
Well-
for this 1 year.
if we can determine tonight what we wanna use as a tax rate, then I'm all for that.
I'd like to do
Then
that.
let's do it.
You guys, and then whatever the difference is, so whatever percentage we're taking, you multiply that by, what's my number? 30.
34,500.
Yeah. You multiply that number by 34,000, and then you get a number, and you subtract that from the bottom line, and that's what you take out of reserves. If you feel comfortable in doing that tonight, we can sure do it.
I would,
I am too.
23%.
55.
Can I make a recommendation?
By
How
all
are we gonna
means.
do this?
Okay,
How are we gonna do this?
let's do it. Make a recommendation.
I recommend at the low end of what you were talking about, 3%.
Carol, do you have a recommendation?
No, up to 3, 2.
Maureen?
I'm 2.5.
Brian?
You have to
Well, it's a little less, it's a little more palatable.
5%.
Barry?
5.
3.
Okay. A lot of threes.
Yeah, the reason I'm saying 3 is I've said it for a couple of years now, we need to at least be matching. Not going over that, so if we don't go to at least 3%, we're not keeping up with inflation. Everyone knows how much inflation is out there in wages and the cost of everything. So that's where I get to the 3%. And the amount that we're gonna need to take out of, so 3% is gonna be around a little more than 100 grand. So we're gonna need maybe about 300 out of working capital reserve, out of our working capital reserves to balance the budget. And there's a good chance we're gonna be able to find savings, because our department heads are great at finding savings throughout the year. They did last year,
And they have done this year.
exactly, so we might come out breaking even with 3%.
Yeah, and the other item to that equation is that last year we put over
That's right.
400,000+ into our cash. So that is a big plus also. So
So we're fixing a lot of things, we're not putting up our tax rate too much. We're covering off our inflationary pressures, our inflationary costs, and hopefully coming in with even at the end of the year.
And,
Wonderful stuff.
So, the other question, go ahead, Scott.
and maybe, they might have something good to say about us in the papers for once.
So,
I don't know about that.
Yeah, that's what.
Tammy, question. In regards to Dean and his roads, we've done 2 roads. We have, and you know how the 2 amounts are, OCIF and gas tax? Are both, you put both of those into the roads budget, okay? So should we hold that to that just specifically roads? Like say if the roads budget is 400 and whatever, and his quotes come in at 300,000. Can we do something with that 100 instead of putting it into the road reserve? Like can we do another small road? Like after the fact? You know, like we were talking about the trucks and that type of thing. Can we do that?
Council decision, but again, you would have to go through the process. And by that time, the same issue that we discussed last year, because you had that same question last year, and the contractors would be filled up by then, but it is a council decision.
But if it did come in, if we're lucky enough to come in under
Yeah,
budget again.
like last year.
But there's that extra money where we can get the sidewalk plow, right? And that's where that money would fall.
Well, no, because once that's allotted for just a point of clarification, once that money is allotted for that road in his road budget, does it have to stay in that line? Because that's how we put the money into the road reserve.
Because council chose not
And we can
to,
take it out of the reserves and use it for whatever we want.
if it falls within the guideline of what.
Yeah, and that's why I think we couldn't take that money out.
Well, I think
I'm
so,
pretty sure
because
that's what Will said, once it's in.
we're gonna be using for road stuff.
I thought Will said it had to be used specifically for road.
No, he
This-
suggested that. He
It was a
suggested,
suggestion,
yes, we can also use it for other things if we want to.
as long as it's under the criteria of.
As long as it meets the criteria, and there's a bit of criteria, including like building repairs and there's other things.
Yeah, I have.
But he suggested we keep it in there for,
Like some of the infrastructure, right?
yes.
Yeah. As long as we're not zeroed in strictly just roads. Not that I want you to get as many roads done as you can. But
And since you get to say that, I get to say, I want us to save as much as we possibly can for one of our water main. You know, those are the other big infrastructure things that are gonna happen.
we, as a municipality within our means, will not be afforded if there's major damage to the water mains, or
Correct.
that's gonna have to be way outside of our
Yeah.
deal. Because we don't have the money for that.
Okay, so that's a different example. Another wall falls into the creek.
That's a good
It's
example.
not a matter of if, it's when.
Yeah, exactly.
What, the wall
No.
or the drain?
The water.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, it's not a matter of if, it's when.
yeah.
The only if is whether we'll be on council or not at the time.
We don't want an Egan Busher Valley situation. Okay,
Does council want to discuss the special area rate? Last year, the special area rate was raised to the same amount as the tax levy was. So that's something we need to know as staff, whether or not council's leaving it kosher or going to increase or decrease.
So I know that we have a surplus in that last year, and you said, I believe you said, that surplus was caused by some projects not getting done. So how much do we need in that budget? Like how much do we need to cover the things that are supposed to cover?
I have to go line by line and add all that up and see what the budgeted amount is.
Because it's hard to make that decision.
then we should
Knowing.
wait.
Because Because I think, Charlene, correct me if I'm wrong, I noticed you have here 2025 tax includes the special area rate in here already.
So that'd be 3% across the board, right?
Just for the tax levy, but the special area rate is included in this amount, not just where we're at now.
But that's 2024,
That's at the 2024 level.
not 2025. We haven't touched that yet.
I think I think it's in our best interest to have an estimate of what the line items are gonna cost us. So we know if we have to raise it.
So one thing I forgot, we should have a vote as far as the 3% increase. All those in favor? 1, 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
There's, sorry, I know I'm stupid, but this area rate, I still can't get it through my head. About the tax.
Okay,
Okay,
so in your.
is are my taxes going up 3% plus my area rate's going up 3%?
Yes.
No,
If we
we haven't made that decision yet.
No, but so last year my taxes went up 17. Did my area rate go up 17 too?
Yes, it is.
So it went up to 32.
No.
Or 34.
It did.
Different equation. Different equation.
Well, 17 is 34,
But two different amounts.
No.
but I still pay 17%.
On one, it's
I can sit down and show it to you on
I still can't get, because
Yeah.
I just, still 17 to 1734 to me, I don't know.
If you group everything together, but it's two separate.
Yeah. So like say your special area rate is 1,000,
Yeah, it went up 17%.
yeah, on the 1,000.
Okay.
Like it's,
Well, it went up too much anyways.
Okay. Does anyone else have anything to input? Okay, motion.
I have one
Sorry?
more question.
No, I don't
Do we
think so.
have to have another finance committee meeting, or can additional information come to a council meeting?
Or maybe we should have another meeting because of all the add-ons and see a final total.
Yeah, I just wondered if we could do that at a council meeting instead. But,
I would suggest a finance meeting.
okay.
Okay, let's pick a date.
July 32nd.
Second Tuesday next week.
Second Tuesday of next week. What are you looking at? How much time do you need, Charlie?
Well, I don't think there's a heck of a lot, is there? Or the special area rate will take care of
What's, where?
it. About at least a week later. So preferably 10 days, how's that?
So sometime during the week of the 19th.
And what's that? That's a holiday week, right? And
We'll do the 21st.
we have a council meeting on the 20th, right?
Does the 21st work for people?
Yeah, I got a meeting in Pembroke on the 22nd.
Well,
21st?
how about if we go May 15th, it's a Thursday. You're gone that day? All I'm trying to do is get one, if we could get a meeting before the council meeting. Because then we can announce everything, even though it's announced tonight, but formally.
So you're gone the 15th, Ted, is that what you said?
Thursdays aren't good for me.
What about the Wednesday, the 14th? Is that kind of too close?
That's the library board meeting. Friday night.
Why don't we change
The
that?
21st.
Can we change that policies and
Doesn't give them enough
meeting it on the 13th? Can we not change that?
That doesn't give you enough time, does it?
No.
That's kind of close.
13th, I
That
won't be
special area
here.
rate's gonna take them a while.
No, I got it.
Okay, then, so if we don't, then we can't announce the budget on the 20th because our meeting's on the 21st, so we won't be able to announce the budget till June what? Yes. Does that fit into your schedule? For whatever you have to do accounting wise? With the county and all that?
With the what, sorry?
With the county and all the government people as far as budgets?
Oh, yes.
So we wouldn't announce it till June?
I wanna do it on the 15th, I'll just have to, I can probably rearrange my schedule.
Does the 15th give you enough time?
That's,
Yeah.
it's 10 days.
Okay.
As long as you're not looking for it on Monday, Tuesday, or
15th.
Okay, 15.
Seven?
Yep.
So,
That's
So
what
what Charlene was just saying is that we have got it prepared, but council won't see it ahead of time. We'll provide it to you on that day, because that'll just give us more time to work on it.
A little early and read it. You can come in a little early and read it.
sure. Does anybody have anything else?
So 7 o'clock?
7 o'clock.
We'll be out by 7:15.
Well, boys, I was wondering what that was.
Okay, motion.
Moved by Bill Smith, second by motion. Committee meeting held on May 5th, 2020, for the town of Taylor, Mr.
All those in favor? Carried.
Have a good day.
For Ottawa, or for Toronto.
31?